Hi, Senga. Welcome to Career Link Pod.
Hi, Senga.
Hello to both of you.
How are you doing today?
I am doing well. I'm enjoying everything that the West Coast has to bring today with some liquid sunshine outside.
That's true indeed. So we can start with your fascinating career journey, which you started and then you moved from financial services to tech industry. So how did you ended up transforming into project tech space, and how did you pivot your career over the period of time?
It's an interesting journey. And I think at the time of being in tech, it was a backward-looking perspective that made me think about how I got to the tech space. And since that tech space, I pivoted even more. So lots of pivots to describe. If I wanted to describe the very first pivot, that would be that I went to university to become a teacher. I was going to be a teacher, nothing else. I had an inspirational high school teacher, and I wanted to be just like her. So I went through everything that I needed to get into university and to think about what do I need to become a teacher just like her. I needed to pay for it. So I took a job in financial services. And that took me into about third year and selecting courses for going into education degree. And I went back and I visited with my favorite teacher. And I said, if you have to do this all over again, would you? And she said, take your time, make sure that this is what you want to do. If you decide to go into teaching, that's great. If you decide not to go into teaching, that is great too. So I decided at that time to pivot from going into education and to stay in financial services. So it was a very big thing for me to not stick with the choice that I had made. I'm very loyal and I was a real change averse person at the time. But that first pivot and getting into financial services allowed me to build those skills, some important skills like communication, organization, and team leadership. And by building those and increasing those, I went from financial services, lots of different roles, into using those skills and pivoting into learning about technology, specifically with Salesforce. So I ended up in the tech industry after wanting to be a teacher through some pivots, and I have pivoted some more.
So it was more into the space of financial technology for you at the very starting.
Not even, but the start was quite a while ago. So the accepting that I could continue with different roles within a retail bank at the time. So I started off on the front counter and then moved into financial advisory, not tech heavy, not a lot of technology to support them at the time, a lot of manual processes. But moving through those processes within the bank and learning to expand my technology learning. And technology was also developing at that time. As each new technology came out, then I would learn that as well because I needed it to do my job. So learning technology helped me to leverage the skills that I had for communication, et cetera, using those tools. And eventually it became more specialized for a while, say in supporting Salesforce implementations.
I see. So the Salesforce implementation, that skill comes from your financial industry knowledge.
It came because we specialized in a vertical of Salesforce that was a financial services vertical.
Okay.
And so that translated the idea of providing wealth management or investment advisory services with the aid of a path with the technology. So it really translated an advisory brain for providing financial advice into a tool that would take the work out of it and complement that process. And that was the technology that really was the key for me.
I see. Interesting. Any learning key takeaways from that?
From
your Salesforce, implementation technology?
Well, I learned that I can implement things where I am not a specialist in the technology. So I can gather the experts together, get all the knowledge together and ask the right questions. But I learned that I am not the one who builds the technology. That's not my preference. I am not the one who codes. That's not me. But I can certainly work with the people on the team who are experts in that. And we all work together to deliver something.
Interesting. Very interesting. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
So you often talk about turning strategy into action. Like I've heard so much, we have talked about it, and you will always talk about the strategy and action plan and how you strategize it. So how do you translate big organizational goals into tangible work every day, and then also measure that progress?
Yes. And this is the question that I have been thinking and preparing for and writing and rewriting. And it is really hard to articulate this in a short segment. I think there could be entire conversations that are just devoted to this. But my brain, the way that my brain works is say that I'm presented with a strategic vision. Say it's a slide deck. It's a strategic vision. And here are our high-level goals. And here's a bullet point underneath this. And it's one bullet point, and maybe it's 3 words. And we need to turn that bullet point into a delivered project. So my brain works. What do I need to understand first? I need to understand why that needs to be done, and why now. And based on an understanding of that, it helps me set the context. How does that fit with other work that's being done within an organization, other project work, or in most cases, the day-to-day work that the project team is working on? The project will be on the side of their desk. How does this fit in that context? And when I have an understanding, I just ask a lot of questions. When I ask the questions, it helps me to understand, observe, it helps me to interact with people, and it helps me to gather the information to go from a really bullet-pointed, non-specific thing into the details that we need. And that will help us to identify what deliverables we have for the project. It will help us to identify the specific tasks that we need to do, the project, who we need to do it, who are the experts, who is making the decisions. And it all goes from a very broad down to a very specific. But if I don't understand the why, my ultimate test of knowing that we have something that is deliverable is, can I write a communication to the people who are being impacted by the change to explain to them what we are doing, why, and why now?
That's right. So the ideal approach is to understand the why behind any action you are taking. And then second thing would be more important is to understand the deliverables target.
Yeah, I think if you can translate the what you are doing and relate it back to why it's being done, then you will always have that check. If you ask a question about a task that you're doing in a project and it doesn't relate back to what your end goal is, then always think about whether or not you are doing the right thing in order to achieve your objective. Does that answer your question?
That does answer, yes. And how would you measure that? Like if you have to measure, because there are so many times we don't have to, like as a project manager, not every time you're going to get a technical project, right? Like Salesforce implementation. So that is like a very technical. So you know, like when you have to fit in the data, when you have to import, when you have to talk to other consultants, you know the plan and process. But when it comes to soft skill, for example, writing a SOP for the whole organization to have a structure, right? Like these kind of things are like a soft skill. So how would you measure those kind of work as a project manager?
So you have to know the intent behind any project. So if we use the example that you've given me of writing an SOP, generally writing an SOP has a couple of different reasons. First of all, it is often to standardize what you're doing. And in the process of standardizing and writing down what you're doing, it gives you the opportunity to create a predictable or repeatable experience. It also gives you the opportunity to see whether or not you can improve on that at the same time. So writing an SOP might not necessarily be writing down everything right now and making changes later. It might be driving the changes in some areas for the SOP that you are writing. So what is your objective? Is it just to write down something and have a book that nobody ever looks at again? Probably not. There's probably some mixture of writing down the knowledge to manage the risk of keeping that knowledge moving forward with a measurable improvement, maybe in the time that it takes to do a process or in the steps between processes for different departments. It is a measurable change if you reduce the time to do it, or if you prevent a risk that's been happening and you didn't know why. You basically determine what you want to measure, what you're trying to capture in that SOP document as a measure of success, right? At the beginning, how do we know that we were successful in delivering this SOP document? All right, here are the things that will mean that we're successful. We have a document, Everybody can access it. We're doing the processes only one way. We have solved this recurring risk. Doesn't happen anymore, etc. And when you list those at the very beginning, throughout the project, and at the end of the project, you need to feel like you have hit the mark on those or understand why you didn't.
Over to you, Subin.
Thanks, Senga, because I think the way you have explained all these important details about managing a project from where it starts to where it goes, I think it's quite deep. When you spoke about the whys, I remember one of my mentors talking about the 5 Ws we have to follow always for projects: who, what, why, when, where. So those are some of the structures which help us to facilitate this process more easily. And I think you have beautifully explained how this process takes place. If someone wants to follow a similar path like yours and they would like to know more about PROSCI, the change management, or maybe the Six Sigma Green Belt, in layman language, how can you explain how's the process and what can changes a person see in their life or maybe in their professional career after learning these things?
Yeah, very good question. And the change management, I think, is really not completely understood. The impacts of having discipline when having change management throughout a project often sounds like an extra when really it can be a key to success. So my path in change management on the formal side, although I have a lens without even knowing it, I worked as a project manager with dedicated change managers on 2 projects. And while I worked with them, I watched them follow the methodology. Both of them had learned through the PROSCI Change Management Practitioner Program. I watched them use the tools and the approaches to manage change throughout these complicated projects. And I just absorbed and I learned and I asked questions from them. I adopted those, whether I knew I was doing it or not. A lot of them went in alongside being a project manager for me going forward. In particular, managing change resistance and understanding how important it is for the benefits of a change and the people who are being impacted to resonate. Really, you can't just deliver a project. Humans are being impacted by whatever project that you do. And if you don't understand the change and they don't understand the change, even if you finish the project, it's probably not going to stick. So I brought some elements into my project management. And then I got the support to take the PROSCI Change Management Practitioner course myself. It was a 3-day in-person course. There's also an online, but I highly recommend 3 days in person with professionals across many different industries. And we all sat in a room together for 3 days. We learned the methodology and we did some hands-on practice with a project that we had pre-selected. And in fact, I have many of those people still in my contacts now. When I want to ask about change management, then I will reach out to them and go from there. So the change management, there are other methodologies out there. I chose the PROSCI Change Management Practitioner. It's been super useful. Then I forgot the other question, sorry.
Six Sigma Green Belt.
Six Sigma, yes. So Lean Six Sigma was kind of similar. So I worked with somebody, and I always loved processes. Just my mind always thought about, how do we do this? And is this person doing it the same way? Is it written down somewhere? I just was fascinated by processes. And I had a colleague who was also fascinated by processes and who became a Lean Six Sigma black belt for a role that she went into and used it at the organizational level. And I thought, well, this must be pretty good if they're using it in a big organization. So I kept that in the back of my mind, Lean Six Sigma, and when am I going to get to do it? And it stuck with me for a long time. And then I had a mentor who had a green belt and had some conversations about her experience with the green belt. And there was this light bulb moment during an active project where, oh my goodness, we're doing lean right now. I didn't know that lean is actually what we're doing right now. And I asked if I could take the online courses. So I did. I, at that point, took the yellow belt, which is a high level, really good introductory through the Six Sigma Global Institute, SSGI. I took that, and then I was so enthralled with it that right away I took the green belt in more detail. Wrote the exam, just had all these notes now and these real life examples from the instruction about how to apply it. and I started applying it into the project that I was working on. So I think with anything that you learn theoretically, if you have a little bit of experience with it first and you can observe it, then you could talk to people who are experts in it and learn a little bit more. And then if you can really make it concrete by practicing it on examples, real life projects, it just solidifies the whole thing. But it's very structured, and I identify with the logic of Lean Six Sigma.
In terms of Lean Six Sigma, is it useful only for in a manufacturing sector, or to improve the processes, or even the service industry, or maybe as an HR professional, you can use it for your processes?
It started in manufacturing. I have never used it in manufacturing. So I have really looked at it from an operational perspective more than anything else. Service processes, anything where you can measure the amount of time that it takes to do an activity, and where you can measure the amount of time in between those activities, anything that delivers value to a customer, which could be a customer, a retail customer, or it could be somebody doing a task, you can use Lean Six Sigma.
Okay, great. So basically anyone looking for some more process improvements or bring a change, it's a good certification for those people. And as you are a PROSCI certified specialist, so what is that one change management lesson you wish the organizations would know before they move into that transformation journey?
Yes. So PROSCI and I think logic, it's hard to accept, but early stakeholder engagement is undervalued. I think you need to do whatever you can early on in the process to involve people who will be impacted by change. And Aayushi may smile at this one. Do anything that you can to remove the word assume when you're trying to accomplish something together. If you don't involve people early, whatever reason it may be, this is a confidential project, or we think that they might react in a certain way that will delay us, or whatever reasons are holding you back from engaging the people who will be the most impacted or the people who do the work early, you need to overcome those, because eventually you will find you may have gone too late and that you're trying to fix something that isn't broken, or you're trying to provide a solution that is not going to work to fix the problem.
Okay. Over to Aayushi.
Thanks, Subin. So with the Lean Sigma, when you said that you had like a yellow belt, so is it more like when you get those certification, you get more opportunities out in the market?
So yeah, there's a lot of weight put on learning, any learning. The yellow belt is just an introduction, and it may be useful for organizations to have a general understanding of the yellow belt content. The green belt, I think, being more in depth and its relatability to projects and continuous improvement, etc., it is helpful. It's recognized. It's globally recognized to have those designations. So if you are using that terminology, then it is known what you're representing.
So at what point of time you think that someone who is in project management should take those certifications like PROSCI or Lean Sigma? I'm entering into this industry, change management, project management. I'm working on small projects, not very complicated, simple, like designing or, building something as a team group or something like that. But like those are very small part of the project management. But at what point I should definitely have to have that kind of certification?
I would say it's your own interests. For me, being successful in project management probably wouldn't have been at the same level if I hadn't had a side of me that always has change management in the background. The Lean Six Sigma, if you're focused on continuous improvement projects and you're facilitating the changes, it's very helpful, but I don't think that it's a prerequisite for being a project manager. It's a combination for me of being able to go from the very beginning of we've identified that there might be something that's not working and we have to figure out what that is. So that's where the Lean Six Sigma helps me, because you will map out this value stream. What activities are you doing and what is the space in between them? What are you doing to deliver value and what is not delivering value? So for me, to have an understanding of what it is that we're trying to fix is good as a project manager, but out of interest, I want to go further back to understand how did they identify what needs to be fixed. That's how I put that piece in. The change management piece, I've played a role as a project and change manager, had that title, done both of them at once, but always the mindset of change management I find useful. Some people start as a change manager, and then there are some activities that can overlap into project management. That's a natural progression. Some people start as a project manager and they encounter difficult projects,
Right.
obstacles along the way, delays, maybe because there's change resistance. And just having that knowledge, if you don't have a dedicated change manager on your team, having your knowledge about overcoming obstacles becomes easier when you have change management tools in your belt.
Right. And you just mentioned about like how nothing goes as planned, like as a project manager when you plan out things.
Yes.
So how do you have any stories such as where you planned certain things and it didn't work out? And then what did you do to navigate that route?
Sure. I have a lot of them, but the one that sticks out was during my Salesforce implementation. So I had a very large team and I came into the project that was already in flight, and this project experienced and kept experiencing turnover, and they were shared resources. So every time you change somebody, turn somebody over, then you had to figure out how to keep the momentum going forward. So even if you had a plan, if you didn't have somebody there who could execute that, who had the knowledge, or if you had a vacancy on your team, you had to replan. So in that case, I had to learn a lot about the benefits of consistency. As a project manager, I followed the example of a team onboarding guide, for example, where we put all of our team knowledge, we put useful links in there, we put roles and responsibilities of the team in there, we put how are we communicating, our ways of working together, when are our meetings, here's links to this documentation or that client recording, and having that together to prevent myself from having to stop what I was doing to onboard each new team member made a huge difference. And it made it smoother for the rest of the team to keep moving forward while this person could just take little pieces and learn what was happening with the project. That one thing about the onboarding guide saved us a lot of time. And eventually we stabilized and we were able to complete with a team. But yeah, I've never had that much turnover on a team before, and it was hard to manage.
Do you think besides all the certifications and then Lean Sigma and PROSCI, do you also think there are like common elements which every project manager should have? Like, for example, in HR, it's about empathy, right? But what is like one key piece in project management that one should have?
I think it's the ability to ask a good question and to listen and turn that into what you need.
Thank you.
Questions are at the root of everything. Yeah.
That's true. Over to you, Subin.
Thanks, Aayushi. As you have switched multiple times into different careers of your interest, one of the questions is, what advice would you give to the professional, especially women, who think it's too late to switch their career into something that interests them? Maybe it's tech or some other profile.
It is never too late, but I will start with my career began with people who said, hey, I know you can do this. You should do this role. And I said, okay, they told me I should do it. I'm just going to go and do it. It was somebody telling me, hey, you should go down to the bank and get a job as a bank teller. And I said, okay, I'll do that. So I did that. And I didn't know myself and my skills as well as other people knew. So when it comes to being familiar with what you know and trying to go into something else, I see it as no different than going into the first career that you went into. If you believe that you have the skills and you want to move into this, you can either pivot, you can try something that uses that skill in your current job. You can observe people who are doing a project in this or talk to people who are doing that. You can learn online, and eventually you could make a minor pivot, maybe take on a stretch role or take on a stretch project to see whether or not you like it where you are. But ultimately, feel confident in the skills that you have, transferable skills that will take you into another industry, and ask those people who would have been the first people to tell you, you should go and do this because you're good at this, this, and this. Trust that as well. But if you don't take the chance, and if you tell yourself it's too late, then that's exactly what you're going to create for yourself.
Yeah, great point. I think networking could play a great role in this. If you network with people who are already in those positions, then you can have better idea of what profile you are looking to switch over.
Yes, and I will add that when we say for women, I don't see it that way. The most amazing managers and mentors that I have had, I would say, I didn't think of them as women. Like they were just managers and they were mentors. And some of them were in spaces where it's not traditionally women dominated in the tech industry. That didn't change the fact that they could be managers and mentors and that others could enter into the industry. It didn't change that. It's about the abilities that you have. Just have confidence in your abilities. Don't limit yourself based on what your perception is of who is in that industry. It will hold you back.
Yeah, and based on the conversation you had mentioned about the Salesforce implementation and the challenges, so I believe project management is quite high pressure work when the projects are on the timeline.
Yes.
And there might be multiple priorities. So if you had to list down 3 ways how you manage yourselves through the stressful environment and the priorities?
So I think it's about setting achievable goals. Having small achievable goals will help you to feel like you're making progress instead of looking at the big goal that you need to achieve. And when you do achieve your goals, no matter how small, don't just jump to the next one. Just pause and acknowledge that you've completed something. Or if you're collaborating on it, make sure that you celebrate that with others. It gets lost when you don't get to celebrate or acknowledge. I think if anything feels like too much, just step away for a little bit. You can do this on your own. There's some great little meditations or do some box breathing, but just step away from what is high pressure for you. And then when you feel like you're ready to go back to it again. But if you don't remove yourself from it, then sometimes it's going to be hard to move forward. So yeah, those are a couple of the things that I use. And you're just human. So you have to acknowledge that you can't be calm all the time. And people will understand that. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to tell people that you're going through a stressful situation. And that can also help you move through it.
Yeah, thank you. I think these are some of the great points because small wins lead you to the goals faster, I think. If you celebrate with the team and make that boost their morale also.
Of course.
They're not down.
No. Yeah. It just helps you to grow together as people when you all know that there are ups and downs, but that you're there to support one another to get through it.
Over to Aayushi.
Yeah, thank you, Subin. I also feel like wherever you are coming from, whatever space you are coming from, I think human touch is so important. Like either you are in project management or HR or finance, that what makes you human is the important piece and important element of your work.
Absolutely.
And so, Senga, what's your leadership style?
So I think describing it is it's people first. I am human-centered. Everything I do is about the human experience, whether it is end customers or whether it is the people who are doing the job. It's about delivering value to them and creating a better experience for humans. I'm very adaptable as a leader, have chosen mostly with projects to influence without authority and not have direct reports, but I have in the past. But I just want people to feel supported without needing to have me as their manager and to adapt to their styles, hands-on, not hands-on, and just really to be there for them when they need anything.
Yeah, that's a very important thing. You use their influence without authority. And I feel like when you read other people's posts on LinkedIn or anywhere, they all talk about that. But is it really doable in real world? And if it is, the way you do it, like if you can share some of the tips on that.
Yeah. So remember when I said I like to meet the people that are going to be working with me? It's particularly important when we're going to work together on a project team. I ask people questions like, what's your preferred method of communication? I ask them questions about how involved that they want to be or whether they want to delegate decision-making to somebody else. And when I build the confidence with them that they have shared those types of things with me and I follow, then eventually the trust gets more and more. When you do what you say you're going to do, you build trust. And so the people who you need to influence, it becomes a little easier to influence them. But at the end of the day, influencing without authority is that you have a common understood objective that you need to achieve. And if you're proposing something that's going to achieve that objective for somebody who doesn't report to you, you need to find a way to work it out. So it's direct influence or escalation if it doesn't work. But mostly successful influence for me comes by knowing something about the person that I'm having the conversation with and working with that common understanding of our objectives.
I think understanding their learning curve, like how they like to take things, like what are they comfortable with, and then you go and process in that way so that they also understand your point and also gets the work done.
Yes.
Awesome. And that's why I like working with you and listening all these interesting pieces and puzzles, and it gives me more insightful things to understand, like the bigger picture of the business or the work I do. And thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. And it's my perspective, and each person will have a different experience.
Yes.
But I do love to see people try these things out and share. Did it work? Did it not work? Should we talk about it a little bit more? It's all about personal growth.
Yeah, I actually do that, Subin. So when I hear, like, I have questions, I'll go to Senga and I'll be like, what do you do in this situation? Like, how would you tackle this kind of scenarios? And she will give me tips. So I have a spreadsheet, like literally a spreadsheet. So I literally measure things, what she says, and I follow that for 21 days or 22 days without skipping it. And if I am like doing good, I will be like, okay, I'm practicing it. But then again, I'm stuck somewhere. I'll go back to her again. I'll be like, okay, so how would you do in this situation now? Like, I passed one level. So now I'm in some other situation. So I actually track that as a spreadsheet.
Well, I guess we have a follow-up conversation to see how the measures went against your original objectives. It's very change management.
Yes.
That's amazing.
And to add, I was recently reading through some posts, and with all these AI and everything, one of the posts mentioned that the organizations are training everyone, but they are not training the employees how to learn. And I think that is something which is missing in terms of these kind of scenarios. People need to know how to learn with the changing tech or maybe processes or whatever it is.
So true. And so, because we talked about AI, so with the AI and machine learning coming into our space, our workspace, and it's taking over, do you think it's coming in the world of project management?
So there's some exciting things that are coming because of machine learning, and then there's some caveats. I've just completed a course through the University of North Florida, which is called AI for Work and Life. It was a free course.
I'm looking into.
And it reinforced a lot of the information that I had learned about the benefits and maybe some of the drawbacks from generative AI, but extended more into thinking about ethics, and how we use this in day-to-day life and whether or not it's appropriate to be using AI for everything. I think in project management specifically, I'm excited that there are some uses to augment knowledge and to research using AI as a companion. The having ideas and validating them against AI or fine-tuning the way that you present them from a writing standpoint is helpful. Deep research, as long as you have validated it, is also useful. It can save a lot of time. It can be like your very talented intern doing research for you, and just basically augmenting the knowledge that you have, maybe finding similar types of projects to what you have run and seeing whether there's any insights or any risks that you might see. I haven't ventured into using the tools yet that AI has for project management, but they are out there. And it's just a matter of trying them a little bit at a time. I think saving time with AI tools in project management is good. Scripts, obviously, meeting action item summaries, that generative AI can also help with communications, provided that, again, it is augmented by AI and not created. I heard in a seminar about the similarity that is apparent when AI creates something. So in this case, it was about resumes. and about how many recruiters can see that it looks like the same resume keeps coming through from different people because it was generated right from AI. You have to watch that. You have to remember that in a project and in change management that there are humans on the other side of what you were doing, and you have to be respectful of that and really use it to augment the way you communicate, but let it be you with a little bit of help.
That's so true. I also have faced that, like, if you don't give correct prompt to the AI, is going to give you the same scripted resume like what they have given to others. So it has to be like very much the right word to put in would be in your way, right? Like you have to give them the right command so that it produces the result what you want.
Yes.
That needs human intervention.
That needs it. And the foremost expert, I would say, I've seen a lot coming from Dave Burse, who is one of the contributors, BIRSS, one of the contributors to that University of North Florida course, and have learned a tremendous amount from the framework that he uses for writing prompts. He was an early adopter, and I found it very interesting to see his approach to using AI.
Interesting. Thank you for sharing that. Over to you, Subin.
Thanks, Aayushi. If you were to grab a coffee with your younger self and advise her for her first day on a project, what would be that key advice?
So my advice to myself and what I remember back as my very first project would be, you think you are only reorganizing a stationary room, but this will be a life lesson for project management. Projects help me get answers to my favorite question, which is, how can I help?
Yeah, I think your first sentence which you said states everything. And for people like me, or maybe the people who are listening, if they want to step into project management and build a future into that within their own original careers, what kind of path they should take and how we can find some guidance?
So another good question, building on that last one, I think you really don't realize that you already are doing projects. They might not be in work, but they're in life. So just to define what a project is, I'll use the Project Management Institute's definition of this. A project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. This does not have to be in business. It could be something like moving. It could be selecting school courses, planning a party. Those are all projects that you're organizing. So when you want to learn about projects in the business sense, maybe my example was to learn to run projects by observing others, participating in projects that were led by others who were experienced, and then to practice with small project opportunities. It could be the stationary room cleanup. It could be moving into bigger projects. And financial services allowed me to do many of those. But then if you learn online, you can supplement and see whether or not this is something that you really like to do. And eventually, in order to become a project management professional or a PMP, you have to demonstrate that you have years of experience running projects before you can write the exam. So get whatever experience that you can. And if you can learn about the methodology earlier on, you track your hours, and then you build up the prerequisites either to become a project manager, or you could have some earlier roles that require less experience, and you can explore that through the Project Management Institute. There are some beginning roles that I'm not coming up with the acronym right now, but yeah.
I think that's great information. And when you said the first line that you don't know, but you're already doing projects, similar to that, I started to read a book on negotiation. And the first line of that was that you don't realize, but you are doing you're negotiating every day of your life.
Yes.
Then I realized, okay, we are doing it even if it's your child, even if it's your day-to-day life, shopping, job, talking to friends, everywhere there's a part of negotiation. So I think the same way at home also we are doing our projects on a family based, obviously. But yeah, I think everyone is the project manager in themselves, but we just need to explore it to a above step.
Exactly. It's been a fun journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
You like that too. Like the way you guys said, I always feel like, so I recently got married. So I always think like, okay, marriage is also my project.
Yes. Wedding planning is a huge project.
Because you have to put in so much effort, right?
Yes.
Like you have to plan things out. So you need to spend some quality time with your husband and everything. It is also, right? Like even though you are one part, but then you also have another person now with whom you're sharing everything, and you have to understand the do's and don'ts,
Yes.
everything. So it is also a project. That's
Yeah.
how I take it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
But it
I think
was
this
really
was a
good
yeah,
discussion. Yeah.
I agree. And I think this was a really wonderful conversation because it imparted a lot of knowledge, not only on a project based or maybe the PROSCI, but the statements which you have made has also made me think over the process I follow or how I can explore more into the existing careers and include more things into that. So I think such
Yeah.
conversations really help you to light up that bulb in your mind and think about a farther step.
Well, I thank you for making me think about these things. It's really made me reflect.
Yeah. Aishi, you want to close?
Yeah, sure. And thank you so much, Senga, for sharing all of it with me, Subin, and the viewers or the listeners who are going to listen this. I know this one podcast cannot justify the kind of knowledge you carry, but I hope like in future we do more and we share it with other people, your thoughts and the kind of person you are and how you say being human first. I hope this podcast justifies that. Thank you.
Thank you. It was a great experience. And thank you for opening up a new opportunity for me to try. It's always good to try new things.
Yeah, you're very welcome, Senga. And thank you for taking the step and coming with us on this podcast.
My pleasure.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks. Goodbye.
Bye.